Hey guys, it's Caden. Welcome to another Autism Digest interview, where today we have a very unique individual. She is a comedian based in Australia, on the spectrum and having ADHD, and her services utilize comedy to help autistic individuals embrace who they are. She is Suzi Payton. Thanks for coming on, Suzi.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm from England, not Australia, just so that people are not confused by my accent.
All right, I'll be sure to remember that. My first question for you is, for those that don't know the name Suzi Payton, do you mind telling us your story in your own words?
So I'm 50. I live in Brighton on the south coast of the UK, and 13 years ago I was diagnosed with ADHD and autistic, and about 5 years before that I started researching and realizing that I could be autistic and ADHD, and that's where my journey started in terms of my neurodivergence. I was a teacher for 17 years, and that was hard work. I was I was a great teacher, but really struggled with the admin side of things, the meetings and stuff like that. So now I'm working for myself. As you said, I'm a public speaker. I educate on autism and ADHD, and I combine my speeches, my talks with comedy. I've been doing comedy for 15 years, and that's comedy, improv, and stand-up comedy, which both of those comedy mediums have been life-changing for me. And I'm also a coach, an author. I've just co-written this book for late identified autistic adults called Lost and Now Found, which is being released on Thursday. And here I am doing what I love.
That's definitely amazing. And thank you for the plug of the book. Be sure to check that out on Thursday, guys. My next question for you is, how do you think autism helps you when you do comedy?
I think it helps in lots of ways. I mean, it helps me with my observations. I make observations that other comedians maybe wouldn't, and my material is all about autism and ADHD. So, I talk a lot about sensory challenges, and I even do a rap about the hatred of the sound of people that people make when they eat. That really triggers my sensory system and drives me insane, basically. I'm able to overcome my fear of public speaking, and I think that's through my autistic determination. I won't give up until I achieve what I want to achieve. And now this is working for me with my comedy and my speaking. And improv comedy, it's great because it's provides there's structure in improv. There's rules: listen, accept, and commit to what's being said. And there's freedom as well. So my autistic side likes the structure and the rules of the improv games, and then my ADHD side loves the freedom to play and be imaginative and be like off the wall and create random characters. So yeah, my imagination and my creativity I put down to being autistic as well.
That's definitely amazing. I can definitely relate to liking structure in certain aspects of life. I'm a wonderful student, so I definitely relate to the organization side of things and not giving up until you get what you want. In my case, it's another dean's list. I have 6. I'm going on number 7 this semester, so I definitely relate to your point of view of not giving up on things, liking the structure of being able to do school work, do a task or an assignment, and then go with the flow of that. So that's definitely an amazing answer. My next question for you is, your services utilize comedy to help autistic and neurodivergent individuals embrace who they are. Do you mind going into a bit more detail about how you incorporate comedy into your services?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a trained life coach, and what I do is support autistic and ADHD adults mainly to achieve their goals. And a lot of the goals we work with are to build confidence, to build self-esteem, to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, or get okay with being uncomfortable, and overcoming self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and also rejection sensitivity. So how I do that, I combine the comedy improv skills with the one-to-one coaching. So we talk about their goals, what that would mean to them. And then with the improv, we really we have fun, we play, we make stuff up. But what we do in between scenes is we discuss, how did you feel in that scene? And if the client says, well, it was okay, but my brain really went blank, I was really scared. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. And what happened? And they're like, well, I thought of something to say. And I'm like, yes, you did. And the world didn't end. So how can you transfer that into real life situation? When you're in a social situation, sometimes it's scary. Sometimes your mind goes blank in a social situation. But drawing on the improv, you know that you can handle it. And that's how it really helps. And it can help people not be so worried about what they say. A lot of autistic people, as you know, will plan things to say in advance. But that we don't know what the other person's going to say. So with improv, it gets you comfortable with not knowing what the conversation's going to be about, and trusting that I can carry on the conversation and be okay. That's how it really helps.
Exactly. I really like that approach. I've done a lot of therapies over the years. I'm 21 currently. I've done occupational therapy, physical therapy, ABA therapy, and they were all great and all extremely helpful. But I really like the way you're approaching it. You're diagnosed as neurodivergent yourself, so you can empathize with a lot of your clients, and utilizing improv to play out certain social situations, like, say, making a friend, going on a date, job interviews. That could definitely be game changing for neurodivergent individuals, and a lot of providers should apply that to their practices. My next question for you is, as you mentioned, you were a teacher for 27 years, so most likely you worked with individuals on the spectrum during your career. Based on your experiences, how can the education system improve resources for neurodivergent students to guarantee their success?
Great question. I think they need to listen to autistic people, and that means autistic adults, but that also means the autistic children that they're working with. And when I say listen to them, I mean listen and believe what they tell you, because they will tell you the truth. And if they are struggling with, let's say, the noise or a certain aspect, then they are struggling. It's about being believed and taken seriously. So I think more of that, more training, always more training. But I think it's the attitudes, because anyone can sit in a training session and nod their head and say, oh yeah, I do that. But really, people need to have an open mind and listen to what they're being told and accept it, which is kind of like improv: listen, accept, and commit to supporting people. Because there are schools that get it right, of course there are, but there are still so many schools that don't, and that's very sad for autistic children that are being traumatized by the school system. So people need to really listen and accept what their reality is.
I absolutely agree. Here in the States, the education system is just as bad as any other country. I think England, where you're from, and a lot of other countries have it right. They have proper resources, and I've interacted with a lot of those countries, a lot of people from those countries personally, and I've heard nothing but great things about the resources there. But here in the States, it definitely needs some improving. I was a product of a special education system personally, and while my experiences were positive and teachers were empathetic towards my situations, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I absolutely agree with you. My
Yeah.
next question for you is, what's your advice to anyone, neurodivergent or not, that wants to make it in the comedy industry?
Oh, yeah. Go along to open mic nights. Get familiar with what's expected and talk to other comedians. Find out how they got started. I would always recommend doing a course or a workshop to build that confidence and to, a starting point. And I would also say do it your way, because there are a lot of people that try and say it has to be this way, you know, but us neurodivergent people, we can do things differently, and that includes comedy. So, go with what you want to do, and don't be kind of pushed into being a certain way, because that's your uniqueness is you. So do it your way. But a workshop, I would say, or a course or some coaching, that would be a good starting point. And go for it. There's no reason why you can't do it. If you've got an interest in comedy, you like writing it, and you don't necessarily physically have to write it. There are other ways of kind of generating material, talking into a voice to speech app, a voice recorder app. Find your way and watch lots of comedians and see what you like and also what you don't, because that's really interesting as well.
I absolutely agree. And I really like that advice, not just with comedy, but with anything, really. You just have to work to it, do things your way, don't be accepting of one structure in order to be successful. That's honestly the joy of life. You get to do things your way and make your own decisions. My
Yeah.
last question for you is, besides the book coming out this Thursday, what does the future hold for you? Do you have anything else that you want to plug?
Yeah, so I've got a course coming soon in October, and it's an online course, 6 weeks, and it's called Unshakable Foundations, and it's not it's the book is good if you don't have to have read the book to come onto the course, but it's about working out what your strengths are as a neurodivergent person, what your values are. Is your current lifestyle in alignment with your values? Are you doing things you love? Looking at your strengths, looking at how to communicate assertively, looking at how to regulate your nervous system, and celebrating you. So it's building a solid foundation ready to be unstoppable in whichever direction they want to go in. And that's for autistic and ADHD adults, and that's in October. So if people are interested, I would say get in touch with me via my website, and I can put them on the waiting list for the information.
All of this definitely sounds exciting. Anyway, that's going to do it for this interview, guys. Thank you so much to Suzi for coming on and sharing her story. Be sure to check out her book coming out this Thursday. If you guys want to see more amazing interviews with those in the autism community, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Autism Digest channel. Check out our August issue that's out now by going to autismdigest.com, and be on the lookout for the audio file of this interview to be posted on our Spotify. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.